Hi guys, welcome back to the Kellner Chronicles, episode 11, another top 10. But just a quick note, I'd like to give an early shout out to Andy Omar. Basically his vlogs have helped me a lot. He's also promoted my channel a lot, and I know for a fact that he's a straight talking guy who doesn't mince words. You may not like him, you may like him, but it's interesting, and he has a lot of really good legal issues to do with going to the Philippines, living there, moving there, etc, etc. He's definitely worth a look if you want to do some research. He knows the legalities of things. So big shout out to my friend Andy Omar. Also, I'd like to do a quick shout out to my wife, Lucy Kellner. She has her own channel, basically Lucy's Lifestyle Journal. Have a little look, see if you're Filipino or OFW, definitely worth a look at, because she'll give you a lot of information about living abroad, etc, etc, things to watch out for, you know, things to do, how you can cook Filipino food, etc, etc. It's totally worth looking at. Okay, it's been a while, I know. I've been busy, been a lot going on. Obviously with COVID and everything, places being shut down, it's very difficult to get things done now. So it takes a lot more time and tires me out. But I'd also, in that time, I know I've gained a fair number of subscribers. Thank you guys for joining the channel. Thank you guys for taking an interest in what I'm doing. Wasn't exactly what I planned. We'll talk about more about that in a minute. But today's topic, let's get back to today's topic. Today's topic, top 10 tips for your first time visit to the Philippines. So anybody traveling to the Philippines, this will be all the tips that I can give you that I've researched, studied and found out and experienced on my own, which have helped me in the past and I hope will help others. So be back in a minute, stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. Okay, today's topic, another top 10. Keep the top 10s going whilst COVID is keeping us all sort of locked down or stuck. We can't travel much. I will be in about a week or so's time with the wife for her checkup in London, but that's more that's not a tourism thing. It's just we have to do it. But apart from that, today's top 10, which is for your first time in the Philippines, your top 10 tips. The point of this is, with COVID and everything that's going on, we're all locked down, but we have to plan for the future, because I'm a firm believer that this is going to end very soon. Why do I think like that? Well, I'll take in history for a second. 1918, we had the Spanish flu, took millions of lives. It caused a major upset globally, economically, personally, physically. It took its toll. It wasn't good. The numbers we have at the moment are much, much less for the same period of time. That doesn't mean it's a good thing, but it is a positive thing. So I believe at some point all this is going to end. It gives us the chance once again to travel to a normal and not a new normal. This new normal thing doesn't wash with me, because quite simply, if after the Spanish flu they didn't have a new normal, they went back to living the way they are, we should do the same with some changes, of course. So I don't agree with the new normal. But putting that aside, that's not what we're here for. We are here to look at life after COVID and a chance to move on with our future. So we're going to do our top 10 for your first time in the Philippines, the tips and hints that you need to get by. These were compiled by myself over time through my own personal experience, and also through things that I've heard, I've seen, and other experiences from other people that have traveled towards the Philippines. They may help some people may ignore them, totally up to you. But these are the best ones that I've experienced and the best ones that have helped me. I just hope they can do the same for you. So let's get started. Number 10. Okay, when you're on the plane and you're flying on your last leg towards Manila, you're going to be passed an immigration declaration form. You know, basically a landing card. You've got to put all your details down, etc., etc., where you're staying, and stuff like that. That's standard across the board. However, there are two other forms you might consider asking if they have on board, which will save you time if you fill them out on that flight. First and foremost is your customs declaration. Your customs declaration, you may or you may not need it, depends on which customs officer is on duty. However, it's wise to have it filled and to use your time on the flight than it is not to have it. And the same would be said for the health card. If everything's clear and COVID is in its remission and we can get back to some sort of normality, then that health card you'll still need to fill out. If you can do it on the plane, even better. The whole point of this tip is to save you time. Waiting around is just going to drive you nuts. You stand there after a long flight, you're exhausted, you're tired, your eyesight's all haywire, and you've got to find a biro or pen to write out this stuff. Try to do it on the plane whilst you're comfortable. It'll keep you busy and make your flight go faster. Just a tip. Okay, moving on to number 9. You've landed. Immigration control. Okay. You have to decide how long your stay is going to be there. Some people go for 2 weeks, some 3, etc., etc. Depending on your nationality, also depends on the legalities of how long you can stay for. Being a British national, I would generally be able to stay, I believe it's 21 or 28 days without a visa. However, before I was married, I used to get what I like to call a booster visa at the airport. So when I went through immigration, I'd hand my passport in and then I'd ask the immigration officer there, who generously helped me, to do my visa. He would send me to the office. I'd pay however many pesos it was for the time that I wanted to stay, and I could stay almost 2 months, which was a bonus for me because it gave me more time to spend with my now wife then girlfriend. So that's always something to check up on. Just check your embassy's website. Say if you're a US citizen, check the US embassy site in Manila, and they should be able to tell you how long you can stay there. Or even go to the DFA's website, the Department of Foreign Affairs in the Philippines. That will also tell you. Or, before you fly, go to your regional or local country's Philippine embassy and get a visa there. Saving time all the time. Okay. And also, going there blindsided and a bit ignorant isn't going to help you because you'll get a bit confused and it'll be a bit hard for you. Okay. When leaving the airport, number 8. On leaving the airport, you're going to see a load of taxis. They're going to be out there, yellow ones and some knackered old white ones. And these UV Express buses. My advice to you is don't be cajoled, henpecked, badgered or pushed into getting on one of these. You will have guys outside, and women, men and women outside, who are touters for these taxis associations. They will try to push you to get into a taxi because they get a kickback of it. And the taxi driver will try to charge you anything from 700 to 3,000 pesos, which in pounds and dollars equates to anything from 11 pounds, to basically 50, 60 pound, or US, anything from 12 to, say, I don't know, $60, $70. Don't do it. Don't be daft. It happened to a person I know, an American lad. He went over there to meet his girl, and they charged him 3,500 pesos just to get to a hotel. That was ridiculous. And he didn't know, and he paid it. That's about $70, about 50, 60 pound. Not good. So my advice to you is get the Grab app. When you land and you get online, and you can get online, get the Grab app. Grab is the same as Uber or Addison Lee or any other car rental companies, or not so much car rental, private taxis, should we say. You grab one of them and you get that taxi. That taxi is going to do the same as Uber. You can see where you're going, you can see how long it's going to take, and you're going to see how much you've got to pay. The people driving them are generally very nice. In the newer vehicles and more air-conditioned and more comfortable vehicles, your ride will be safer also, because you don't know where you're going with a taxi. Totally worth it, and your fee will be much less. You'll be paying something like 300 pesos maximum, maybe 500 tops, which is £5 or £10, not even. $5 or $10, not even. So definitely worth it. Okay, number 7. Before going to the Philippines, I would suggest checking online sites. On-site? The hell? Yeah, online sites. Booking.com, TripAdvisor, Hotels.com, and Virago. All those sort of sites will help you. Try to choose your hotel from there instead of just going there and winging it. Okay? You could end up anywhere and at expenses like mad. There are hotels to suit everybody's tastes and affordability. You can stay at a backpacker's lodge all the way up to 5-star luxury, and that would be places like the Shangri-La, Marriott, whatever. Or there's the slightly lower end, like 3 stars, which would be Red Planet in Asiana, the Clipper in Makati. You've got lots to choose from, and you may need to do that anyway if there's still COVID restrictions. So do it online. Save time, save money. And have a hotel, a secondary hotel as a backup. You don't have to go there, you don't have to pay for it, but just keep it in mind so if you do need to. Okay, number 6, carrying cards and cash. We all know, we've spoken about this before, how the Philippines is a cash society, or a cash culture society. Cash is king. We depend more on our cards nowadays than the East does. Cards do everything. It's easier, it's cheaper, just throw your card, get it scanned, and away you go. Philippines is a different story. They like the folding stuff. So be prepared to have cash on you. Here's my tips on that. At number 6, make sure that you carry what I like to call a throwaway backup wallet. Keep your cash and cards separate. Your bulk of your cash goes into a different wallet, hidden somewhere on your person, as do your cards. Take a small amount of cash, say 2,000 or 3,000 pesos, and put it in a throwaway wallet. So if you get mugged or you get somebody pickpockets you, you're not going to lose much, and you can afford to lose the wallet. Just don't keep anything important in it apart from a couple of thousand pesos. That is a smart move. Whether you agree with me or not, it is a smart move, and I've seen it come into effect myself in the Philippines. We may talk about that one day. Okay, at number 5, dress down. This is going to be a controversial one. People don't realize that when they're flying abroad, they're in their holiday mode. They want all their new stuff on, Nike, Adidas. They've got all the branded stuff on. They're looking the parts. They want to be super snappy, super hip. They want to be fashionable. Word of advice, guys, you're going to a country where there's a great divide between rich and poor. I mean, a huge divide. Try to dress down a little bit. I'm not saying going there looking like a scumbag or a tramp. I'm not saying go there like you don't have a peso to your name. What I'm saying is use a bit of intelligence and a bit of tact and dress down. Simple t-shirt, simple shorts, simple sports trainers or flip-flops. Yeah? Don't wear all your day glow, super fancy sunglasses, flash this, flash that. You make yourself a target and potential victim. You may have people outside thinking to themselves, hello, We're a gang. Here's a fella that's easily caught. Let's mug him and take everything he's got. I've found over my time visiting the Philippines in the last 11 years, I tend to dress down a lot. I've got expensive clothes like everybody else. I've got all the flash gear. I don't use it much. Why? Keep it simple. I'm going to have the same fun wearing this as I would wearing a flash expensive one. You don't need to be flash. You can still enjoy yourself. And anyway, you can buy quality top brand clothes there at a reasonable prices too. So keep it simple and keep yourself safe. Don't make yourself a victim. Okay, ATMs at number 4. ATMs. What is my problem with ATMs? I'll tell you what my problem is. From my own experience and from what I've seen, we, as I said before, we are a card society now. We tend to use our cards for everything. If we need cash, we're going to go to an ATM. No problem with that, generally. However, let's take a look at that for a second. When you go to an ATM, you have a quick look, you put your card in, you punch your numbers, you don't think much about it. You should. Things to consider. 1, who's standing behind you or beside you? Are they looking over your shoulder? So always look back. Make sure the person is legally social distanced by 1.5 meters. If not, politely ask them to take a step back. They get offended, it's their problem. You're protecting your interests. 2, check the machine before inserting your cards, both the insert slots and the keypad. Don't be a mug. Feel them, move them around, see if they wiggle. If there is any movement or any give at all, those items could be dodgy. Don't put your card in it. Quite simply because it could be a skimmer. For card cloning, you could have a very nasty time there without no money. Also, what I would suggest is there are a lot of these places now where you've got an ATM that's in a cubicle and only one person can go in there to use the ATM. It's kind of a protective measure, and that does the same thing for you, but still check the machine anyway. Okay, that's another good one to look out for. Okay, at number 3, how do I get the best information of places to go, things to see? How do I get a taxi? Where's good to eat? How do I get to this place? What's there to see? And can I do this? That info is available to you. Of course it is. The best people for it? The following. Security guards, whether they be at your hotel, be outside a bank or whatever, these guys are generally, or girls, are generally extremely courteous, very, very helpful, and they will do their best to find you your way there or whatever knowledge you need. Another good bunch of people would be the cashiers at shops, your receptionist at the hotel. Generally, you will find people in the Philippines are very helpful. Even in Manila, a busy city like Manila, people will tend to help you if you ask. Okay? But the majority of the time, I would use people like security guards and that, because 1, for sure, they're going to know the area, and 2, they're safe. There's nothing dodgy about them. So, yeah, definitely, they are a fountain of information waiting to be tapped. Okay, moving on to number 2. At number 2, tips. A lot of the Philippines is a service society. For instance, bars, restaurants, hotels, taxis, things like that. Most of them live on a very small amount of money, a very small cash each day. We're looking at ridiculously low. We're looking at, in UK money, £5 to £10 a day at best, and in dollars, between $6 and $12 a day. They can barely afford to exist, especially in a big city like Manila. It's very expensive there for the locals. So when it comes to going to your restaurant or to your bar or to your hotel or to any service area or even a taxi, should you tip them? Yes. How much should you tip them? Okay, from my personal perspective, I think the minimum you should tip them is 50 pesos. Minimum. It depends on the sort of person that you are. On the other hand, I don't think I would really tip them over 200 pesos. What's the difference? I'll tell you. 50 pesos is about $1 or about 70 British pence. And 200 pesos is approximately $4 or about 3 British pounds. Why the difference in tips? That's up to you. It depends on what you feel about that guy, how he's helped you, etc., etc. For instance, you could have a hotel bellboy / porter. He takes up your luggage, he makes sure you have your coffees, your waters. He's always on hand whenever you've called down or asked him a favor. He's run around for you during your stay in that hotel. I mean, that's the type of guy that's looked after your well-being. He's catered for your needs. That's a guy that at the end of the day, I would give a large tip to. You know, if he's just taken up your luggage and that's it, that's the last you see, 50 pesos at the door, keep it standard. Same in a restaurant. If you are treated with care and attention and respect in the restaurant, then obviously your tip's going to be higher than if you're treated and your plate sort of thrown in front of you. You're not going to tip so well or tip at all. It would be the same anyway, but keep your tipping relative. My suggestion is between 50 and 200 pesos. I wouldn't go much more than that, unless of course the person's gone really out of their way, excuse me, to help you out. And finally, at number 1, food. You're at your hotel, you're settled in, you know, it's late in the evening, you've got off the flight, you're still hungry. You haven't had a proper meal, your body clock's ticking over to a different tune. How do you get food? In the local areas, there may be some takeaways like Pizza Hut or whatever. Yeah, you could go to them. Not too wise in the middle of the night. However, as most McDonald's there are 24 hours, etc., etc., you could probably get the porter, bellboy, to get you some stuff, or you could download the Grab food app. I'm not promoting Grab, no. It's just what I've used, okay? Grab is the same as a lot of food apps, you know, for these delivery guys like Deliveroo in UK or Hungry Monkey here, or was it called Rock Hero? I don't know. Not trying to promote them either, but I'm just giving you some sort of background. Uber Eats, I think, is another one. Wow, okay. You've got all these delivery systems. Grab would be the perfect one. They will do across the board, and if you feel hungry, you just go on their site. They'll tell you which place they're delivering from and how long it's going to take. And you can just sit in your hotel and wait for it. Then the next morning, you wake up refreshed and ready to go for your day. So yeah, definitely try to get that Grab app at the same time as getting the taxi one. You're good to go. Okay? One extra tip: money exchange. 2 places I use, and I'm very careful when I use both. I tend to change my cash from sterling or dollars to pesos, either at the airport ones, which aren't too bad. You know, you're not going to lose much there. Just shop around a bit there. Or I would go to somewhere like Mall of Asia or Glorieta in Manila, one of these big malls, and look for the exchange bureau there and check their prices. Run them against the international ones. You'd be surprised. There isn't going to be a hell of a lot of difference. There's 2 specific ones that I use at the airport and at Glorieta. One's near the car park in Glorieta 2, I think it is. It passes me. You can find it. And that Exchange Bureau does look after us. We don't lose much there. You know, you might lose a few cents to the peso on certain things, but it's not much. And you'll be quite surprised that you come out with a really relatively good rate. But that's that final tip. Okay, just before we go and before I'm done, I'd like to give a shout out to Mayor Isco from Manila. Since that man took office, he has taken Manila to task. Oh my God, I've been watching the videos. The DPS QRT teams are clearing up the city. Aren't they clearing up? Not just the city, the sea, shores, everything has been taken apart and rebuilt. Since COVID kicked in and since this mayor took over, he has got new projects all over Manila. He has done what no other mayor has done, which surprised me, and he hasn't taken a kickback. He's actually trying to get Manila redeveloped, and it's working. The areas now, there are certain areas which are absolutely beautiful, which were Minging cesspits. Tondo, that was a really bad area. It's now picking up. They've got new development plans and everything. The Divisoria was a hellhole. That's getting better. And Baclaran, that was a pit. I mean, I'm sorry to say, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it was a pit. It is now looking clean and fresh and improving all day. So well done to him. And it's something else for you to look out for when you go to the Philippines. Anyway, I've taken up enough of your time. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and share. Remember the links in the description for other channels. And please leave a comment if you think you need to. Tell me off for being wrong or whatever. I'm cool with that. Okay, have a great day. Thanks for watching. And bye-bye from Perry at the Kellner Chronicles.